Good morning, Year 7. Today we are classifying and constructing triangles. So remember, triangles always have 3 sides and 3 angles. Every triangle has 2 names. The 2 names, the first name can be named according to its side, the types of sides that it has, and the second name is that it can be named according to the types of angles. So let's quickly go through the 3 different names we have for the different side lengths of our triangles. So the first one is called scalene. In a scalene triangle, no sides are the same length. That does also mean that no angles are equal. If we were going to draw a diagram for this, I need to try to draw a triangle that has 3 different side lengths. So maybe one very big one across the bottom, one medium one, and then a much shorter one to join it up. Okay, so to show that those are different side lengths, I would put little marks on there. So I'm going to put 1 line on that, 2 lines on that one, and 3 on the bottom one to show that those are all different. Because it said the angles are all different, I'm also going to put different symbols in each of the angles. So this angle is different to this angle, which is different to that angle. Okay, so that is called a scalene triangle. An isosceles triangle has 2 sides that are the same length, and that means that their 2 angles will also be the same. To draw an isosceles triangle, we draw one side across the bottom, and then we try to carefully draw 2 more. I might make them a bit shorter down here. That one, or are they the same size? I might need to make that first one bigger. Join them up. It's not a perfect diagram. Okay, so I'm trying to show, not very well, that that side and that side should be the same length. That means that this angle and this angle, we call them the base angles of the isosceles triangle, they would also be the same. The third type of triangle named by their sides is an equilateral triangle. This one has all 3 sides the same length, and all 3 angles will be equal, which means that they will always be 60 degrees. So here is my drawing of an equilateral triangle, trying to get these side lengths the same size as best I can. It's pretty close. So this side, and this side, they are all 3 of them the same. That means that all of these angles are the same. And I'm putting dots in there, but remember that that does mean that they are all 60 degrees. So these are all 60 degrees in each one of those. Okay, we can also name our triangles according to the types of angles that they have. And there are 3 types of these. So the first one is an acute angled triangle. An acute angled triangle will have all 3 angles less than 90 degrees. So an equilateral triangle is an acute angled triangle, because remember that they are always 60 degrees, the angle in that one. So we could draw in here an equilateral triangle, but it doesn't have to be equilateral. Here's my little bit wobbly equilateral triangle. So that one, they're all the same, and these angles are all the same, so that one would be an acute angled triangle. But I could probably draw a scalene triangle that is also going to have acute angles everywhere. How about that? As long as that last one there is less than 90 degrees, which it looks like it is, that angle, and that angle are all different sizes, and the sides are all different lengths. So that would be a scalene triangle that has all acute angles. You could also do an isosceles one as well. A right angled triangle is the next type of one triangle we need to talk about. One of the angles in this triangle will be equal to 90 degrees. This could be, again, it could be a scalene or it could be an isosceles triangle. Okay, so I could draw a scalene one with one big long side, one much shorter side, and then this would be my right angle down the bottom here. So these would be all three different side lengths with one right angle in it. It could be an isosceles triangle. So I could make that side and this side the same length. I think they look the same. Join that up. And then if I put my right angle and put a mark there and a mark there, then that would be an isosceles triangle that has one right angle in it. It is not possible to draw an equilateral triangle that has a right angle because remember, equilaterals are always 60 degrees. The third type is what we call an obtuse angled triangle, which is a triangle that contains one angle that is obtuse, which means bigger than 90 degrees. So we could have one side across the bottom here. I could draw my big obtuse angle and join that up. Now this could be isosceles or it could be scalene. I might make this one isosceles. I'm going to put one, that one's the same as that one, and then I have this big angle in here, which is what makes it an obtuse angle triangle. Okay, so what are we going to do with this? We are going to find the angle sum of a triangle. So the three angles in a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. Now there should be a triangle going around these angles that are on here. Okay, so if we have a picture of a triangle, then the three angles that are inside must always equal 180. So we make it into an equation, starting with the x. I'm going to say x plus the 40 plus the 60 is equal to 180. To give your reason in your brackets, we call this angle sum of a triangle equals 180. Now I have to solve my equation. So I add the 40 with the 60, x plus 100 equals 180. Then I subtract 100 from both sides to get that x is equal to 80 degrees. Let's do that again for question B. The three angles starting with the x have to add up. So add them up and it will be equal to 180. The reason is because angle sum of a triangle equals 180. Solving it, I add the 50 with the 60, which gives me 110. To finish the equation, I'm going to subtract 110, and I get x equals 70 degrees. We have a few more of these to do. So question C, starting with the x, you add on the 60 and add on the other 60, and altogether that will equal 180. Because angle sum triangle equals 180. Adding together the two 60s, we get x plus 120 equals 180. Subtracting the 120 away, we get x equals 60 degrees. So it turns out all of those angles are 60, which means that's actually an equilateral triangle. Question D, you can see that we have a right angle or a 90-degree angle in here, but all those are going to add up to give 180. So we start with x. X plus 90 plus the 55 is equal to 180 because angle sum of triangle equals 180. Adding together 90 plus 55, we get 145. X plus 145 equals 180. Minus the 145, and our answer is x equals 35. Question E, making our equation, we have x plus 48 plus 66 equals 180. 48 plus 66 is 114. X plus 114 equals 180. Minus the 114, and we get x equals 66. One last time. For our last one, we're going to have x plus the 61 plus the 20 is equal to 180 because angle sum of a triangle equals 180. Adding together the 61 and the 20, we get x plus 81 equals 180. Minus the 81 from both sides. And we get our answer, which is x equals 180 minus 81 is 99 degrees. Okay, so it's your turn to do the questions from the workbook on pages 44 to 46.